you could disagree. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're having another issue with the Volpe Bowser Report. This is October 1st. The year is winding to a close. Who would have thought it? Now, in all fairness, people say, well, you had Republicans on in April. You had Republicans on in May. You had Republicans on in June. You had Republicans on in July.
That's all
you had
true. You did have a lot
Republicans
of
on in
Republicans
August.
on. Yeah.
Same Republicans.
A lot of
That,
Republicans.
in all fairness, that you got to give the Democrats a show, to balance it, to make it balanced. So this is the show where
Andy Bozzo, fair and balanced.
8 months is way too much. Fair enough.
Dominic was supposed to be here, but I can't say he was having Mai Tais because people get mad. Actually, he's been drinking healthy margaritas because he turned 60, so he's using new salt on the rim instead of real salt.
Is he 60, really?
Yeah, he turned 60, yeah.
Damn,
Happy
it's,
birthday. Looks good.
it's like when I turned 60 and I started putting filter tips on my marijuana. You have to be healthy. You can't be like the old day. I know you guys don't know anything about marijuana, but that was more of a drug for my generation.
I tell people I'm 60, so they'll go, you look good.
There you go.
If I tell them my real age, they go, damn.
I thought you tell them you're 60 so they can say you want a joint. But anyway, we have, of course, to say hello to our number one fan, Marianne McCara, who after this beginning may not want to be associated with the show because she has young kids. But anyway, we have to say hello to her. We have Darren as our co-host, Darren Rigger, you all know him. And we have a friend of mine, and a fellow cab driver, and a member of the Peekskill City Council who was on last year in this show. You did last October, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yes.
The October show. Ramon Fernandez, who has made quite a name for himself on the council.
Good evening.
I know, a lot of people go to him when they when they can't bother. Our guest, of course, the mayor of Peekskill, Andre Rainey. With his plate being full, Ramon seems to take constituent concerns very seriously, and that's why he's here. And again, also being a friend doesn't hurt. And
When people have complaints about Andy's taxi company, they know to go to Ramon
There you go.
to file the complaint.
that's right, and he promises.
I direct him right over there.
That's right, and he promises to give them brakes and tires at no extra charge.
Where?
But anyway, in all seriousness, Andre was on in the beginning of the year a couple of times, and I promised him you have to make sure that during this year running for re-election that he gets a shot to explain to you folks why he should be elected to another term.
Thank you for welcoming me back.
No, hey, look, come on, we have a lot of
Appreciate
fun,
it.
a
Yeah,
lot
we
of laughs.
certainly do. We
But
certainly
before
do.
we start, we do have to do something seriously, and I'm turning it over to Darren.
Yes. So the other night, Vanessa Agudelo, another one of the city council members here in Peekskill, hosted a training for early voting. So this is amazing, you guys.
You're jumping the gorse. What is early voting?
I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain.
Right, maybe.
Get a load of this. New York State. Ready for
Because
this?
this is a first.
Out of the 50 states, New York State, 41st in voter participation. Wow. 40 states have better voter participation than the state of New York. We're in the bottom 9. It's sad. And one of the big differences, other states have early voting. We don't until this year. This election will be the very first one ever to have early voting. And guess when the election voting starts? You gotta hold that.
Got it.
Gotta hold that. October 26th. October 26th. It's a Saturday. Saturday, October 26th. You have Saturday and Sunday. You have all week, and then you have Saturday and Sunday. So you have a lot of time to go out and do early voting. And the location, if you're in Peekskill or Cortland, the location is Peekskill City Hall. Peekskill City Hall, that's where you go early voting from October 26th all the way to Sunday, November 3rd.
And
It's gonna be
election day,
huge.
the election day is Tuesday, November 5th, and that's for Republicans. Democrats vote on Wednesday, November 6th.
Exactly. I'm going to wear my early vote New York sticker to remind everybody.
One of those.
And then we have one in Spanish for Ramon. There you go.
Yeah, but it clashes with his
Vota
suit.
temprano, New York.
Yeah, vota temprano,
Vota
Nueva York.
temprano, Nueva York.
All right.
You should bring one of the big ones
There
here.
you go.
That's right. The Democrat wears red. I think that's wonderful.
There you go.
Beware.
But it's gonna be really great because it's such a. Every single person knows someone that either didn't vote or missed their opportunity to vote or couldn't make it. You get stuck in a meeting. Your Metro North train runs late. You don't pull in to the station until 9 o'clock at night. Shit happens on election day. I can say that. This is cable.
Yeah, you can say shit on cable. Yeah.
And so you miss your opportunity to
You
vote.
can't because they'll play it for you on the council. You can't.
There you go.
So I work down the city. So a lot of people do. A lot of people don't work where they live, so it's really hard. They can't run over there during their lunch, that kind of thing. So this is
What
a
is
real
it
game
you do in
changer.
the city?
I
And is it
go down.
legal? Is it
I go
legal?
down to the city. I loiter mostly.
Oh,
No, I
geez.
just was wondering if it was legal.
Very honest.
Loiter.
Very honest. It's Democratic way.
Yeah, but but this election is not the only one coming up. There's another one coming up. When is the
board, right?
school election?
October 7th.
October 7th, next Monday, and it's going to be for the two proposed that like the school has for the turf and the turfy field. They're going to build in a turf with lights, 500 seats, I think so.
Yeah, they want to make it a brand new,
Yeah, brand new.
state-of-the-art, 21st
And-
century
and
football, or I shouldn't say football, but sports field.
Yes,
Yeah.
And they're going to buy the old firehouse, right?
yes,
And the old firehouse right on Broad Street up there, yeah.
yeah.
And it won't raise taxes at all to do it.
No
Not
rate
at all.
taxes.
Did you say they're going to put boards in the old firehouse?
No, they're gonna
They're
they're gonna move the
Sex ed in the old firehouse?
Right, sex ed,
the
that's right.
storage they have the maintenance to the lower level in the firehouse,
See,
and
he
the
does
top
smart.
level they're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
have they're gonna move the transportation department over there, the central
Parent-teacher organization.
parent
Parent-teacher
center
center, yeah.
registration.
Right now it's located in Uriah Hill.
In Uriah
so they're
Hill.
looking to move it over to a more
So-
convenient space so they can use those classrooms for
Yeah,
obviously more.
And Uriah Hill is going to have more open space for the pre-K. So they planning to have it, everybody can be in pre-K.
So then you think this should be a measure that the residents should vote for?
Certainly.
Yeah, we
yeah.
we encourage the people vote for that because it's going to be something good for the city. I mean, it's like we have the DRI, the 10 million grant, and it's like the school is working in sync with the city
Yeah.
and a lot of improve that. we
So
gonna
you
have.
get more bang for the buck, apparently.
Much more, certainly. Yeah.
Now, we have talked about this on previous shows. Even Darren was on one of the shows. We talked about the $10 million, even though they didn't have anybody from Peekskill when we talked about it. But the general thing of getting grants, because Michael Grace was a supervisor, and he's gotten. The fact is, this grant,
Yeah,
nothing is carved in stone on what you're going to do with it, right?
right, correct.
So the rumors on Facebook that it's going to this person, or the BS.
Very much so.
That's-
If
I
they-
mean-
I haven't seen those rumors yet, but if the rumors
because
about
Matt
money going
Slater,
to anybody,
Matt
yeah.
Slater, who worked for Terrence Murphy, explained that when you're filling out these applications, you have to put some things in them, you know, to the grant people of what you would like, what grants would be like for examples. But they're not carved in stone that they have to go to those things that were set in. So it's still up for debate where the money's
So yeah, so there's a process
going to be
to it.
contentious. It
Let
should
me-
be an election issue. You're
Yeah,
gonna
let me
discuss.
let me explain the process.
I'm
a
gonna
little
let
bit.
you have it.
That
This
might
is
help
yours.
it out a
This
little
is
bit.
all
Yeah, 'cause
yours.
just to eliminate anybody thinking that they're going to get any of the.
Well, that's what I want to know. What the thing get.
Yeah, 'cause
No, I want
don't
you
want
to
that
give
to be
it,
out
I
there.
want you to give a chance to kill the rumors
Yeah.
that are on social media.
Oh gosh, and I just got back on to why. So
But not going
what
to
happens
stop
is-
it.
Yeah,
But
so
you-
we present we had a presentation in front of the council, for the DRI,
Right.
and over 386 municipalities applied for it. They picked the top 100 to interview, and Peekskill won. So what happens now is what we did was we gave them a presentation of the ideas that we had that can make our city downtown thrive even better than what it is right now. So you give them ideas such as, wayfinding, which was trying to find a way to create a connection between our downtown and our riverfront using Central Avenue, culinary arts buildings, and so on and so forth. We have about 14 to 16 different things we put in the presentation. So once they looked at the presentation, they had us come up there. We had to speak in front of about 21 members, and they chose Peekskill. So now what happens is the state assigns a consultant to you.
Right.
So the state assigns a consultant to you. So it's not like I'm going to say, okay, Mayor Rainey got the grant, so I want Andy and Darren and Ramon and Colin and Kathy Talbot, Vivian, and Patricia Riley.
Not a patronage.
I want all of them. Yeah, I want them all as my consultants.
We're not on the patronage mill here.
Not at all.
That's
Far
what I
from
mean.
it. And that's the reason why they do this. They assign a consultant team for you.
But my question is this, and this was the same question I had on a previous show.
Okay.
The consultant assigned by the state.
Yes.
Are they supposed to have at least a working knowledge of Peekskill?
They are all extremely professionals. So
But
what they
no,
do.
that's not what I'm saying. Do they have a working knowledge of Peekskill?
So they have a working knowledge of how to run the DRI money. So they come in there, and they pretty much dictate how, or make sure that we're managing it the right way, and they dictate what happens. So fast forwarding, when we come up with a local committee that comes together of maybe 12 to 15 different individuals, they get to pick those two. So there is no, again, Andre Rainey's picking the committee. He's getting Tricia Riley, Councilwoman McKenzie, Ramon Fernandez, Colin Smith, and Kathy Talbot. They don't allow that. They get the names that we submit, and they pick who they want to be on the committee to represent Peekskill. They vet it out. So once they do that, then we have town halls with the community. We say, these
You
are
don't
the...
palm the names like they do in those drawings at the raffles, right?
No, we make it fair, make it very fair. So, long story extremely short, after that, we do town halls with the community. We show them some of the ideas that we presented to them in the DRI. Community input always helps. They can say, we want this, or this may be better, that may be better, and they come. We do public meetings. We're going to be doing about 2 public meetings a month.
Well, I only say that because no,
with the public to get public input.
I
That's a lot.
mentioned
Yes, a lot. One meeting will be just the committee that we form with the consultants, and the other meeting will be the committee and the consultants with public input.
See, I talk about this because in the cab, I don't know about Ramon, but in our cab, one of the big topics of discussion on local is where the money's going to go.
Yeah.
People are actually concerned, but they also say, because again, you see what's on social media. Is any of it going to go for the infrastructure?
So again, this is what we talk about when we actually had those meetings with the consultants.
But do you talk about it?
Of course we do. You have to.
Because
I mean,
all they see is, cosmetic things like gazebos and
Yeah.
Paramount, but they're not hearing about infrastructure and
Right.
what good is having all this other stuff without the infrastructure to support it.
What they would have to do is they'd have to actually read the presentation, because Jean Friedman is a very, very, very involved in that presentation, and she put, there's certain, the water pipes and things like that underground, like that's all in the presentation.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
But
You're here to set the record straight.
Yeah, and
on
so if
this.
that's out there, that's because people probably are, people have a habit of that.
Uninformed.
Yeah. But that's the thing about social media that I learned too. People confuse not knowing something with something not being done. So if they don't know about it, then it's not being done. And then when you tell them, well, this is actually what's happened. Oh, okay. And they never go back and say, oh, I was wrong. Let me put this out there. It's kind of just, you know what? I didn't know you were doing that,
Yeah,
so
but it's
I said it's
also
not being
good
done.
to follow social media to see what they don't know. No use telling people, no. You think it's...
Oh, he has no clue what he's talking about.
Yeah, but the point is...
That's why I watch Fox News.
But the point is you don't hang around with people that already know what you know. Okay? Darren will
Right.
tell you when he's been to a number of my personal functions, I don't hang around with people that sit around the table and say, Andy, you're right, Andy, you're right. Because I already know that. I need somebody that are going to
Okay.
come up with other ideas, other topics, so the conversation around the table becomes interesting.
Certainly.
And the same thing when you're talking, when you look at social media in your position as elected officials, you want to find out not just what's being misrepresented, but what it is the people don't know that you can inform them on.
So part of the reason, I'm sorry, just want to let him know, and for the public too, part of the reason why we're going to have these meetings held monthly is to keep the public involved, because nowadays, if you're not, like for me, for
I
example,
hate the word transparency.
if I wasn't,
I hate that word, but it's the best word there is.
it is, but at the same time, people, like Darren said about Fox 5 News, like if you're not watching News 12, if you're not watching, Fios 1, if you're only watching Fox 5, then you only know what's happening on Fox 5. So when you look at what's happening at the council meetings or in the work sessions, if you're only going on a Facebook group, then you only know what they're talking about.
That's
But
why they
the
have to-
information is there.
That's
You
why
just
they
have
should
to.
watch this show.
They should watch the Pastor Show because
you-
the real information is here. But
That's
again,
right.
we have to encourage people to look outside of where they're getting information from to find the actual facts.
Yes.
But you mentioning something like I always say like we have an advantage because we can meet with people every day, different people.
So
That
that when you even thinking about running, what did I tell you? Your best way to campaign is with your customers. I
Yes,
told you that from the
yes,
beginning.
yes, yes,
It is
yes.
you. Well, because I said he was going to meet more people in a given week than you guys will meet in a month. So knocking on
Right, just
doors.
simply pick it. That's right.
and let me tell you something. A lot of the issue concern that I brought to the council meeting is because some people in the taxi, they told me, oh, you should think about this, you should think about that, and that's an opportunity to
That's
work
how
with
I
the
know that you're responsive to people, because they ride in my cab too, and they say, you know, I told Ramon this. Next thing I know, I'm seeing this. I said, well, he does take this.
awesome.
You know, he actually takes his job seriously.
Right.
But it is advantage. But there's something like that I want to mention, and
Be my guest.
we thank you. But you're talking about infrastructure, but we can mention that
Did a
it's
lot.
not only that 10 million grant.
we did
If
a
we
lot
can
last
mention that, I have the list over here, and we have in the year. In year and a half or year 8 months that we have in the office and the mayor and the council, we are worth $3.4 million
Grants.
and more in grants about
For
talking about Charlotte Point, Waterview,
These are additional grants.
Waterfront Trail, and there's the other ones that we don't have it here. In the,
Oakwood Drive.
well,
There's a
Oakwood
few,
Drive is
yeah.
not here for the 3 points, more than 4 million
You're
because
going to fix up Oakwood Drive?
Oakwood Drive is a federal grant the
Wow.
city
After all
has.
these years.
Yeah.
It's gonna start now, maybe in this year or the beginning for the next year. So, and when you're talking about all the issues that we approve and award in 1 year, working together with the staff, with the city manager.
Yeah, but
with
without a good local paper to tell people, like they used to have the North County News and all that.
That's what's
That
missing.
was that got like no. So
That's what's missing.
you have to have shows like this, and you have to have an active social media.
Yeah.
That is,
So-
not just from the Democrat committee or something, but there should be like your Peeksville website. That whole thing should be on your City of Peeksville website, where this money is actually going.
Right, so
So
that-
not politics.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
information.
Yes.
And that's actually a great suggestion. And we hear similar suggestions like that all the time. But the good thing about this is everything that he's mentioning on that list has passed through discussions, through the CALs, votes through the council meetings, and approvals. So it's a matter of getting people to tune into the meetings or being able to put the meetings on where people are
Or
looking.
put them on your website. The
meetings are there.
Not, I'm
With
just
the
saying,
agenda
but,
and everything, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people have more. It's easier to read quick than listen to people talk. No, you can listen.
No, I'm saying the actual agenda is on the actual
Yeah, but
website
he's
too.
got a list. That kind of list should be on your website. It's non-political, so
Gotcha.
people go to
Yeah.
the Peeksville website.
That's actually-
they see,
yeah, okay.
see this, and they said they know when they go there, they're not going to encounter politics.
Right.
They're just going to get information germane to the city of Peeksville, and at that point, it really doesn't matter who gets the credit. People will know where credit goes. They're like the firehouse. You're at the ribbon cutting, but they knew it was multiple. 'Cause we talked about this on the air. Darren was on this.
Yeah.
Multiple
Administrations.
administrations
Certainly was, yeah.
were responsible for that. People are not stupid when it comes to that.
The good thing about that too is when I actually got to speak at the ribbon cutting, I said this is not just the mayor's firehouse. This is the entire city's firehouse.
Darren brought that up.
And I
Darren-
said that
Darren mentioned it
right,
at
and
the
I said
show.
that because this was about three or four, if you include me, administrations of work.
Right.
But this is the results of when you continue.
But
the
that's what I
path.
say. But a sheet like that, people will know that this didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
That it took a lot of but
But also, let me just say something about Andre and the administration currently, right? These grants are coming in from the federal government, from the state government, and from the county government.
And they're all
And those people
right now.
are vetting this. And if a municipality has corruption, if a municipality has a mayor that lands in jail or misappropriation of funds, those entities lose faith in the municipality and don't give them grants.
Right.
The fact that they're looking at Peekskill, they're looking at this mayor and they're looking at this administration and they're saying, we trust them. We
'Cause,
trust
well,
you because
I've always
you guys
said-
are getting grants that other administrations never got.
I've
Yeah,
always
and-
said you're the best guys money can buy.
And let me tell you something. let me say something
I
about
was actually about
that.
to say thank you.
I remember when the DRI came, Governor Cuomo came with the announcement. One of the Sandy Gallo, Assemblywoman Sandy Gallo staff, it was over there in the meeting and in the reunion, and she said, "Oh, and now you are waiting for our office because we applied to her office $1 million for rebuild the DPU park and converting in turf and
You were
rebuild."
talking about that off the air. What's going on there?
Well, we are
Seriously,
waiting for
because
that. But I just
you were
want.
explaining to Darren what was going to happen, and that caught my interest. And I want to make sure you get this. What's going on?
What he was talking about though was the school's proposal.
It's separate.
Yeah,
Oh.
but he also has a proposal that he's working on. or I
Which
should say,
is?
which
Yeah.
is the other the Dubuque Park field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a grant that we apply. We send the simple application, and it's $1 million the Sandy Gallows offer to the city to be the DPU park. The school has a torpy, so we're gonna fix maybe a both field.
Yeah.
And
We-
when she told me like that, she said, "Oh, and now you're waiting for that $1 million." And I said, "And you know what? We're gonna looking for more money.
That's
We don't
right.
wanna stop." And they
We're
said,
go-
"No,
listen,
you have to stop."
we-
because we're working as a team. Very.
We went as far as writing a letter to the Jets head coach.
Wow.
We're just hoping because the fact that they used to play on that field,
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
and they after they won the championship, they kind of said we're going to move on to bigger and better things.
And
We're-
they've never won anything since.
right.
So maybe if they come back, it'll change their luck
Maybe if
again.
they come back or even just invest. You know, like this is you know, there's history here. You know,
Yes.
there's history
Yeah.
here. So it would be a great opportunity for the city. So
That's a really good idea.
yeah, but we're
And you
working
mentioned
on
the fighter house, but we had to mention that we increase the member for the fighters. So and probably I think in the next budget is on the website
just came out
today.
today.
They just came to
The
the
next budget just came
website,
today, yeah.
and it's posting that we're gonna hire a new fighter and I forgot now for the I almost say Medicaid for the
EMS
yeah for the
ambulance corps.
no the fighter and they go to the emergency and it's
The
gonna-
arsonist.
yeah
EMS.
but
The
that's
EMS. You're talking about- I know what you mean. Yes.
yeah but because we
Paramedic.
yes
Okay.
yeah I was blocking my mouth.
Paramedic from 100
but
place.
How do you get that
that's
from arsonist? I don't know.
No
that's
clue.
gonna be very helpful to drop down the
When people
overtime
call-
and
right,
all
when
that
people-
thing
yeah,
and the
people
and the
need-
firefighter
people
is
need-
too
yeah,
high.
and-
So
right.
and it's something that we can talk about everything that we are doing.
Well, the best way to speed up response time is to outlaw getting sick during rush hour. This way,
Outlaw getting sick.
that if you're going to get sick during rush hour, just face it, you're dying because people have to get home.
That's
You
it.
know, I mean, the sick ain't going to, your dead don't get any worse, but you got all these people that have worked all day long.
Outlaw getting sick.
That's right.
It's illegal
Wait a
to
second.
get sick
That's how
at 4
taxi
o'clock.
cab drivers think about that. He's agreeing. Right. Not during these hours.
Think about
What?
this. You outlaw bank robbing. Do they still rob banks?
Yes.
Do they punish the politicians that made it against the law? No. So you outlaw getting sick.
That's it.
There you
They're
go.
not going
That's
to,
it.
people still
So
get
I want
Genius.
Andre to take that 30 seconds and just tell us why, because this is a good chance.
130 said, did he come out with the sign that
Why
said
can
2
he?
minutes?
Well, no, but it's going to take more than 30 seconds because there's going to be follow-up questions. Why should you be reelected for to be mayor?
Yeah, he's right, because I say the same thing. Tell the people why they should vote for you. You now have a record. And there's your 2 minutes. You're
Beautiful.
on.
Thank you so much. So, again, thank you for having me here once again. As always, I appreciate it. But there's so many opportunities that we have ahead of us. We've been able to accomplish so much in the last 2 years. And one of the greatest things that I think this administration has done is we've built the right relationships with the right people. That's including the county, that's including the state, and that's even including the governor at this point. And the amount of money that we've gotten for different grants and things like that they're not only looking into Peekskill, they're looking into the people that they're working with here. So we're excited about the $10 million DRI grant. We're excited about the Boys and Girls Club. We're excited about the $2.4 million increase to the school district. We're excited about the $50,000 for the youth pro. We're excited about the $900,000 or something going to Oakwood Drive. You know, we're excited about all of these grants. The $200,000 that we're going to get in 2 weeks for Fort Hill Park. That's because we're working with the right people, and they want to work with us. And on top of that, it's how we carry ourselves.
Isn't the key working with and not working against? You're trying to make it a collaborative thing.
Make it a collaborative thing. And with the people that are our colleagues in government right now, they see the same vision that we have for Peekskill. They realize that we fight for climate change, so they're looking out for us. We have 2 electric charging stations we're excited to. But the developers that's coming in now, for example, Bill Bolter's project, 645 Main Street, he's putting an electric charging station in there. And that's from negotiating with the council that knows the value of the climate change issue that we have, environmental justice issues. These are all things that we as a council, not just as a mayor, prioritize. And the great thing for me is I work with a council that has passion about whatever they feel. You know, climate change, youth, you know, education, taxes. You know, the governor came to Peekskill to announce the 2% tax cap that he's putting on. So it's not only having the right relationships, but also having the right people in place to continue what we have going on. And we need that right now. I don't think it's right for Peekskill to take advantage of that and lose the opportunity.
Now, so far, as compared to past elections, this has kind of not been a negative campaign. And I think it's because you and Vinny know each other.
Should I go negative on somebody?
No. But the fact that you and him, I know each other.
Yeah.
And I believe it's not uncommon that there was an understanding that you two would not do it to each other, and
Right.
respect for each other.
Certainly, yeah.
And I think it should be pointed out that, you know, things like that aren't generally known because in politics it really is a contact sport. But when you see people that can still be gentlemen,
Yeah.
even though they're on the opposite, or ladies, but people that are on the opposite aisle of the aisle, you don't have to hate each other.
Right.
To not be able to disagree and still remain pleasantly, you know, and I do want, and I wanted to point that out because I remember the last time you ran, there was a lot of negativity, but I don't see it this one. I'm not pointing. I said it doesn't. It's not there, and it takes
Right.
2 people. It can't just be one. And I think you both should be commended that you're trying to run an issues-oriented campaign.
Great.
And I think it's a great thing. I think it's better for the voters of the city of Peekskill.
I agree. And
I mean, he comes here with issues. You got issues, and you got accomplishments. It's not like you're betting on the come.
Right.
You actually have accomplishments, and now you can talk about your aspirations,
Right,
which
right,
you
right.
just spent 2 minutes doing.
that's not 30 seconds.
No, but the fact is, these are aspirations.
I actually have a follow-up question.
Go.
Boys and Girls Club of New York, what's that about?
So that's one of the biggest after-school programs, or not even after-school, one of the biggest programs in the world for boys and girls. It's one of the most successful as far as programming goes. And there's one located in Mount Kisco. There's one in Brooklyn. There's a few around the nation and internationally. And we brought them up to the Kylie Center to look at the Kylie Youth Center. They loved it, and they said we can host our programs out of the Boys and Girls Club. They just passed a 50-year lease, I believe it is, with the Housing Authority. So now we're just waiting for.
Wow, that's
now,
terrific.
and it's another thing about working with the right people. The person who introduced me to the the Mount Kisco Boys and Girls Club also has secured $1 million in private investment to run the first year of programs.
That is probably the best news that you said in the last half hour. No, because
For me too, though. I'll be honest.
no, because
Can we get Denzel up to Peekskill?
No, you start.
You never know.